Yeah, we have got one coming up. We got one coming up.
Yeah, we've got spring break, haven't we?
We got spring break, yeah.
Okay. Right, well, basically, I'll just go through the album. I've literally just written my review. I'll tell you what I've written after the interview.
Oh,
Look out.
Okay, I'll do a short little intro and away we go, yeah?
okay.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
I don't know if some of you guys weren't here when he said, but no swearing during this interview.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
there
can
will
actually
be.
hear Carl for a change. I'm shocked.
Sorry.
Shall we get on with this?
Yes.
Yeah, come on, let's get on with it.
Come on. Right. Hi,
Like
I'm
bloody
Dave. This
children.
is the Cyderbaby pod. And today I'm talking to King Kraken. Hello, guys.
Hey.
You're all looking well and stress-free, I must say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very,
Yeah.
Coming towards
very
the end
good
of it
day
now.
today. Very good day today.
Indeed.
You were showing something earlier. You can actually show it on screen, you know.
I did.
What
yeah,
have just turned up.
today, after, since starting in 2018 when King Kraken first formed, it's all been working up to this one day, and we have finally taken order of our debut album.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it on.
These will be all sent out to the pre-orders next.
Yeah, you're going to be busy licking stamps and sealing envelopes, aren't you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
definitely.
Signing 113 albums.
That's something to look forward to on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's that Sunday's chore for the day, is it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't envy you one little bit. Okay, let's talk about the album. The title. I mean, I can't exactly say it on air, can I?
MLCXXX.
Yeah, there you go. It's all Roman numerals. What's all that about?
Basically, it's translated into the number 1180, which was the first documented sighting of the Kraken by King Sverre of Norway. Funnily enough, it's actually a true story. What he actually saw was a giant squid.
Yeah.
But he thought it was a Kraken, a mythological beast.
Okay. And this is, I assume, is where you got your name from as well. So.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of like that. Yeah.
Oh, come on then, expand on that.
Basically, during when we were coming up with the name, Pete had a vintage amp. Was it the Vantage?
No,
The crack.
Victory.
Victory. Sorry, yeah, Victory. The Victory Kraken amp, and he's Kraken. That's a good idea. And Rich thought, "I will stick King in front of it," and that's basically it. I mean, there should have been a far more exciting and romantic reason why we called the name band King Kraken, but essentially that was it.
We were going to be called Wolf Skull or something like that, but we were like,
Wolf Skull.
that's not working. That's not working.
Oh, yeah. There was lots of names thrown into the hat, but most of them were terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really bad.
All the best ones are terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you've worked out this. This is not your first release. You've done an EP as well before.
Yeah, we did
Two
we did
EPs.
KSN. Yeah, 2 EPs. We did Chaos Engine EP. I think it was 2020, lads. Was it 2020?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then back in 2019.
That was more of a demo in 2019.
Yeah.
It was a demo.
Yeah.
Looking back on it now, it was a demo. It was a very good demo. You know, the guy did a sterling job on it. We were all excited, our first EP and all that. But when you look at when you sort of progress with regards to production and where you go to record and things like that, yeah, it was the first release was a demo, and then our first proper EP was in 2020.
Okay. So the album is due out end of this month, 27th, is it?
It is.
That's
Yeah.
Everything's led up to this point. Just tell me about it, because I've literally got a list of titles here to my left on the screen. I'm too vain to put my glasses on to read them. But you got Devil's Night. You've opened with Devil's Night. Yeah. You've opened with Devil's Night. Tell me about Devil's Night.
Devil's Night, essentially, from a lyric perspective, is, for want of a better, rather than sort of say, oh, it's about the internal struggle and your feelings and all that crap. It's basically the Crow movie,
Hmm.
the Brandon Lee Crow movie. That's what Devil's Night is. Devil's Night was the term given to Halloween in the film. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
But basically, that's what that song is about. I like to write when I write the lyrics, I like to write stories as opposed to, you know, how you're feeling about something. So you look at the album, you got Frankenstein in there, you got witch finders in there, you got all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
It's actually a little bit of a controversial opener for an album as well, with the way it starts. I don't think many bands start with just a bass guitar and a drum to begin the album with.
Yeah.
it's quite a dark opening, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what we wanted. We wanted something that was just going to sort of think, oh, what's all this about? And
What's
then
going on?
it's going to hit you then in the face then within a few seconds. So, you know, sort of.
And it's a nice little opener as well, isn't it? That beginning bit is, you know, that's it's really like something, you know. Ooh, Jesus, what am I listening to here? Like, you know, it's a bit of a kick, isn't it? You know?
I echo Carl's sentiments. That's a very risky opening because, you know, it's your first album, it's your debut album. You want to hit the listeners square in the testicles. Do you know what I mean? You want to smack and bang, there you go. And you don't. You've got this really sort of ominous bass line playing. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting you said when you're talking about writing, you want to tell a story. This is the whole thing I've got from the entire album. It's not just the words on the songs; it's the whole atmospheric feel of each and every song tells the story. So you're actually close your eyes, you're there, right there. Man-made monster. You're right there in Frankenstein's cave.
Yes.
You get the feel from the guitars, the drums, the bass, and the vocals and the words and everything. It's just absolutely outstanding. I thought that was just brilliant. That is my favorite track, to be fair. But
thank you very much.
That's one of my favorites as well.
yeah, I mean, but the whole album I found is just like atmospheric. I know atmospheric is probably a wrong word to use for a groove-ridden blues.
They're just all different, aren't they? Every song takes you to a different place, I suppose, doesn't it? You know, it's you know, well, that's the way I feel. Anyways, they can be all different stories, but they all sound relatively the same. As in, you know, it's the sound of King Kraken. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I suppose that's not something we aimed for to a certain degree, but it's definitely something that's definitely something that's been positive then yearing back the album, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the good thing about the album is all the dynamics, the tempo changes, and just the feeling behind the songs is just sort of there's nothing on the album I think that sounds the same. I know what you say, you know, we sound, you know, it's played by us, but I think every song is different, it has its own story, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Adam, you're very quiet there. We had
I'm
trouble
not-
He's the stoic one.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that anymore. Moving swiftly on.
Right, Adam can answer the next one.
Yeah, Adam, go on. What is your favorite track on the album?
Personally, probably Proctor's Ledge.
Okay, tell me why.
I think because after the sort of first initial lockdown, really that's the first one that we sort of started from scratch that got finished, and then we had another lockdown. But I think that was the first one that we thought was going to be like a new track on the album when it felt like we started writing it the first time. I think because like I think Man-Made Monster we played live, didn't we, before COVID?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh,
I just think I think out of all the tracks, that's the one that sounds the most like my kind of influences as well, really. But that's not why it's my favorite, just because it was the first one that we sort of finished as such. Apart from the ones, there's 3 tracks on it that had already been written.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But the ones that we thought were going to be a new album track.
Yeah,
the weird thing Sorry, the weird thing about Proctor's Ledge is when we actually first played Proctor's Ledge live, we all said, "Oh my god, that went down like a lead balloon, boys." What are we doing? And then it got revised a little bit, didn't it? Maybe like over time, because like Adam always says, like, you never get the feel of a song until you play it live, like, and all these songs we kind of road tested before we like recorded them, really, just to make sure that they were, they had a good feel, and especially like taking in like the crowd and what they were doing in certain songs and all the rest of it. But Proctor's Ledge, the first time we ever played it,
It might have been something to do with the way we played it, actually.
Possibly, yeah.
Maybe it's just too new and we sort of weren't playing it properly, but it goes down a stormer now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does now, yeah.
It's quite a traditional blues track, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deep and dirty blues track, but it is a very blues-based track, which is quite different to the rest of the album. Again, it's like everything you said. I mean, Veins is another different track as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
I think
more a punky edge to it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is a punky sort of high energy sort of track. It is our next single actually that we're about to drop in January.
Okay.
Just before the album. So it does, it's sort of I think to us it's one of the more sort of commercial songs that we have. And we're hoping that it's gonna have more interest than possibly the others as well, because of that. Just coming up with the riffs for that. It was just trying to find something that was more mainstream, possibly. And it's sort of, I think when you get all the bass and the drums on top of it and the vocals, it's just sort of, I don't know, just came to life. Just a lot of energy in it, real energy actually.
The thing I remember about that is that like Pete always used to he'd like record tracks, he'd get a drum machine out, he had bass to it, and he'd send them to us, and then we'd turn up at practice and try to play them. And as I remember with Veins, I think some of us weren't that keen on it, and what happened was we said, "Oh yeah, we'll try it, Pete," and then we played it, and it sounds nothing like his original. If he found his original recording, right, it's nothing like it.
I bet you actually will be.
It was amended.
It was Kraken.
Yeah.
Everything's Kraken, and that's it. When we come together, it's everything sort of just works,
Yeah. So
I mean, there's 5 people, all with our own unique influences, and when you hear the album, you hear all those different influences all just joining together, coming on all the tracks.
100%.
Yeah.
okay.
It's great actually, because you don't realize it until you actually hear them recorded, and it's like, oh, that reminds me of this and that reminds me of that. But when people say, oh, you sound like Clutch, or you sound like this, or you sound, I mean, just like, I can't hear it a lot of the time, to be honest.
I did see one of your reviews was saying that compared you like the British Clutch. I mean, you tell a story like Clutch. I mean, Neil Fallon's a very good story writer, storyteller, but you're much darker, and you're Clutch, brilliant. I love him, but you're much darker, you're much heavier than Clutch. Maybe not so spaced out as well.
No, definitely not spaced out. I don't know, man. When you look at Adam, man, he looks quite spaced out there, doesn't he?
That grin's just come out and got bigger. So yeah. Moving swiftly on. Walls of Jericho. Tell me about that.
Based that basically, literally on the title of the song, what it is. It's the biblical falling of the walls of Jericho, where the soldiers marched around the walls of Jericho in 7 days, blew trumpets, and the walls fell. And I've always, even from a young age, good Catholic, good red Irish-blooded Catholic boy, going to school. That story, and it's always sort of stuck with me, that particular sort of story, and I thought just put it into a song and see how, lyrically how it would work.
Okay.
I think the live with that song, I think Carl's always got to warn me before that song. He's like, you need to play this song slow now, slow.
Slow down.
Get a bit ahead of
Literally.
yourself.
If I can't hear him, I can see him. His hands are going slow.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah.
I first heard of you, funny enough, was Haddonfield. When that
Was
came
it?
out. Yeah, I mean, I was aware of you, but I hadn't actually heard anything from you. So, was it Emma Scott sent it over?
Yeah.
And I thought, this is brilliant. So I was playing that regularly on my radio shows at the time, and
Awesome.
it's a story of Halloween, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good first single, to be fair. I think, you know, it had a bit of a point towards it. We released it on Halloween. You know, obviously it was about Halloween. If you want to expand upon that, Mark.
Yeah, originally it wasn't, and I sort
Okay.
of, and originally the words they had for it had nothing to do with Halloween, but I kind of rewrote the lyrics to coincide with. Always been a fan of horror films, or you know, always, and wanted to do a horror song, and this was the first one. So, to me, Michael Myers is the most iconic horror character out there. You know, Freddy Krueger got nothing on him as far as I'm concerned, or Jason Voorhees.
Very true.
Yeah. He was the first one, 1978. Let's have it. So, and funnily enough, the only line in the song, if you didn't know, if the song wasn't called Haddonfield 78, and you didn't see the accompanying sort of single cover or the graphics or anything, you wouldn't know it was about Halloween, because there's no mention apart from shining silver, which is his knife. That's the only reference to it at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what was it originally called? What was that funny name? What we came up with?
Shiver.
Shiver, that's right. Yeah. We all used to go shiver. Like that.
So your sainthood is on its way. With this crowd.
Oh, that was funny, wasn't it?
Okay. The current single, Green Terror.
Yes, my favorite.
Wheelchair.
Oh, go on then. Your favorite? Why?
I just love the groove of it, and the I kind of love the wordplay in especially in the second verse as well. I don't know what it is about the energy of the song that when the second verse kicks in, it tends to makes me want to sing harder. And you've got the one line, 5 into 1 unholy sound, which is the 5 of us into 1 unholy sound, and it's the verses are all about King Kraken, hence the title Green Terror. Sorry, the choruses are all about King Kraken. The verses is actually Robert Johnson's Crossroads.
Okay.
So it's selling your soul for fame and fortune, you know.
Oh, I did that a long time ago.
I don't know whether
I didn't get much for it.
I don't know whether you've actually seen the video to that track.
I haven't, no, but I will go on YouTube later and find it.
Yeah, there's nothing to do with the song, so it's
Nothing else.
totally sort of off the walls.
It's a cool video nonetheless.
It is cool, yeah. Especially the end bit.
It was probably the most fun video to do out of the 3 that we've done.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I think so, because like it's wrestling related. Like me and Mark love wrestling, right? And we done this like whole like promo thing just before Green Terror actually came out, where me and Mark got involved in a real wrestling match and this, that, and the other, and it was a right laugh, wasn't it? But the video, like obviously wrestling rings are bouncy, yeah. So like, try playing a drum kit in a ring with 4 people bouncing on it, right?
3 amplifiers tied down.
Yeah. All the amps are all tied to the ropes and all the rest of it, like to stop them from falling over. Like, oh man, I've never ever played a moving drum kit before in my life. Like, it was terrible.
We were all a little bit seasick after that, weren't we?
Yeah. I had motion sickness on the drive home. I was like, oh my god.
We literally couldn't actually keep still, but we were all trying not to move because we were afraid that the heads were going to topple on the amps.
Yeah.
And it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare.
It was good fun though, wasn't it? Fair play.
Great stuff.
And the wrestlers in the video were fantastic. Fair play to them.
Amazing.
They did like 6, no, so was it 6, 7 hours, boys? 6,
Yeah.
6, 7 hours. They put up a second ring for us and didn't ask
Yeah.
us.
And wrestled for 6 hours. They must have been wrecked the next day,
Yeah.
to be fair to them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so album's at the end of the month. What's next for the band?
Promoting the album, I think, is to. We've got a few festivals lined up next year, and it's to get the album as far and wide as we possibly can. Because you know, the passion that's gone into the album and the amount of work that's gone into the album it'd be a criminal not to do anything with it, obviously. So
Yeah,
it's just about getting it to as many years as possible, to be honest. I think that's generally the plan.
They're really just knuckling down and making sure that album gets us to the next level, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think that's what we all really want, is to play those better gigs and play those festivals and things like that. And like, you know, it's like for us, it's not like we've never really been like about money or anything like that. Like it's about like the better opportunities, the better sort of experiences, though, especially for me, that's the way I think of things. Like, you know, if you can get a chance to play Download or something like that, then, you know, I remember that.
Or you get asked to support Monster Truck Out the Blue, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that was wild, wasn't it? Yeah. And not even like in our local town, like I was in Bradford, we're from South Wales, you know what I mean? So yeah, like opportunities like that and things like that are just phenomenal. Like, and just like days and weekends you'll always remember, you know what I mean? Like, and especially like I think when you get older as well, like we're all like 35 plus now, except for Adam, but even though he looks 40, 50, 60 maybe. But yeah, I suppose, like, you know, it's nice to have a hobby like that gets you out of the house as well, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, as unrock and roll as that sounds, like, you know, I got 2 kids, you know, the boys have all got kids and all the rest of it, and, you know, in the set and the other, and it's nice to have something that gets you out and doing stuff and seeing new people and this and the other and meeting new faces. You know, yeah, it's just, you know, and I suppose that, you know, the better things that come from the album, then happy days, great, because that's what we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you got any festivals announced yet?
We've got Call of the Wild. We've got is it Wildfire? It's called
Wildfire in Scotland.
Wildfire.
Pentrafest.
Monkey. Yeah.
Drunken Monkey. Yeah. That's not actually
and of course Spring Break.
Yeah.
Spring Break.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I will see it Call of the Wild.
Coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, I will see it Call of the Wild, which is an awesome festival, I've got to say.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a great gig, that is.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. Okay, so where can people pre-order your album from, sirs?
Actually, the pre-orders are now closed.
Oh.
So the pre-orders are now closed. So we're in the process of now. We'll be sending off all the pre-orders. But then we've got our launch show on the 28th of January, and that's when officially the album will be for sale, and you can get them at our gigs. And we'll be reopening our online shop as well, so people can still order the album when.
You can actually still order the album now on Big Cartel.
Oh, there you go then. Still available.
Big Cartel.
Yeah, it's kingkraken.bigcartel.com.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Happy days.
Okay, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time. You've made a stellar album. I really do like it, and I will bump into you at Call of the Wild, and we'll have a pint and have a chat.
Amazing.
See how it goes.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
All the best. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you.